Hey, good morning, guys. Now time for the Okeechobee Fishing Report. 1318 was the lake level this morning. It's dropping, it's coming on down. So you got to be very, very careful out there. We got a lot of events coming up. We got, man, there's just every weekend there's a big event on Lake Okeechobee. And we want to make sure those guys are very, very safe and try to give them some tips on things to do, places to go. Here's the biggest tip I can give you. Gassing up your boat, put that Love's app in your phone. You get 10 cents off on gas. They're not a sponsor of mine. Trust me, I'm trying to save you some money here. Gas prices in Clewiston, I write down from my house, was $2.99. Folks, if you have that app on your phone and you go by the Love's truck stop, just right up the road here in Moorhaven, just a few miles, just above where 78 hits 27, you can go up there and you can save 33 cents a gallon. Now, when you're filling your truck and your boat, you're talking about a lot of money. I mean, that's a huge difference. So download that app. You put your card in the pump. You pull it out and you get ready and scan that barcode that's on your phone. There's a place right there where you scan it. It knocks 10 cents off your gas. It was a $2.67 versus $2.99 here in Clewiston. But anyway, that's going to be my biggest tip this morning. I'm telling you, rainy this morning. We haven't had any rain here in a long time. It's not going to rain much. People ask me, is that going to raise the lake level? No, it's not going to raise the lake level at all. So anyway, not going to get enough rain for that. Got a cold front coming. Got a freeze warning coming. Got an app on my phone. I got to cover my tomato plants up because I do not want to lose my tomatoes. Let me tell you, I got some of the best tomatoes around. And in fact, that's what I'm going to be doing in just a few minutes. I'm going to make a bacon, egg, and cheese and tomato sandwich. That's my breakfast this morning with a fresh tomato. Folks, if you've never had a garden fresh tomato that's right out of your garden and you eat the ones you get at Walmart or wherever, grocery store, there's no comparison. But anyway, I got to get off that. Cooking's one of my hobbies, so that's something I really, really like to do. But we're talking fishing this morning. Got a cold front coming. It just changes everything. Got a full moon. I mean, not a new moon coming, January 18th. That's Sunday. Now that affects the fish a lot here. We're going to have a new wave of spawning fish move in, but hopefully it's going to warm back up in the week. But I really think the way the lake level is setting up right now and the weather conditions, by tournament time the following week, I think fishing is going to be on fire. I think it's going to be really, really good. We're going to have a lot of fish on beds. They've been bedding here for a while now, but they're going to be bedding all winter long. We talked about that the other day. They spawn almost 6 months out of the year down here because we're a lot further south than anywhere in the United States. It's a different world down here, guys. It's not the same. But I think that's one thing that makes our lake a little different. A lot of people think these fish spawn twice a year. I don't know if they do that or not. I just do know they spawn during a new moon and a full moon the same. So keep that in mind. Keep that in mind when you're coming down here. And be safe. Put that stick in your boat. Feel the bottom. Run the outside of the lake. Don't run any of these trails. If you're not familiar with Lake Okeechobee, stay out in the main lake. Watch that depth finder. The problem a lot of people are having when they get their boats on plane and running, they can't see the bottom. Folks, it's very, very important to have your boat set up where you can see the bottom while you're running. I'm getting ready to decide on what metal boat I'm going to rig for Lake Okeechobee. Really excited about this. I've got to ride in a lot of them. I was supposed to ride in one today that was a Bass Pro Shop boat, but with the weather and everything the way it is, we decided to put that off. So anyway, it's getting your boat set up right where you can see the bottom. It's so important, and it's easy to do. You just have to play around with your boat a little bit. The metal boats, they won't shoot through the hull. So you got to have it mounted on the outside, and that's a little trickier. If you got a glass boat, man, if you can get that plug inside your boat, it's 100 times better. I promise you. But anyway, that's my 2 cents worth on that. I think the south end, the north end, everything's gonna be good. We got a northwest wind that's blowing today. So if you're out there fishing today, if you can tolerate the rain and the wind, the north part of the lake from uh, I guess from Worm Cove all the way to Tent House would be my favorite place to go because you're going to be protected back in there. I talked a little bit the other day about line size and all that. I'm learning a little bit every time I go out. I learn something different. I know that here's what I would rig up today. If I'm throwing my Cinco or Fluke or whatever, I'm probably going to I'm not going to tie just light line on. I'm going to probably still throw my 15-pound monofilament, but I'm going to tie me a real light fluorocarbon leader on. That's something I was going to play around with today if I went, but I'm not going to do that. About a 3 foot, a 2.5, 3 foot, probably a 12-pound fluorocarbon leader. A friend of mine from Tennessee, Chickenhead, one of my old Boilermaker buddies, said he just throws it on just 20-pound fluorocarbon, which I know for a fact. Now, I've been on some of the lakes up north. I think Oneida Lake was one where the water was gin clear. You could see 100 yards away from you. I was throwing 20-pound fluorocarbon on my Cinco, and I guarantee you those fish could not see it. So I guess if you're throwing fluorocarbon, it doesn't really matter about the size. I really do. Y'all may be wrong about this. If I am, y'all let me know. But I've had good experience throwing heavy fluorocarbon line in gin clear water. I thought, well, maybe I'm going to scale it down a little bit, throw a little bit smaller line. Yeah, might be better. I don't know. That's the thing. You don't know till you go out there and try. But sometimes getting a few more bites on something is a huge deal if you're a tournament fisherman. And even if you're just out fishing and having a good time, the more bites you can get, the more fun you're gonna have. I promise you. But anyway, that's what I was gonna play around with a little bit today. And if you're not really good at tying those knots where you tie a leader on, if you're not good at that, get you one of these real small barrel swivels and put it on there. That's just as good. You can tie a better knot maybe, and then as long as you're comfortable with it. Won't go through your guides though, so you got to leave a little bit of, makes your casting a little bit different. But anyway, that's what I was going to do today on the BigO. But with this weather and everything, we got a freeze warning for the next, I think maybe tomorrow night, and then the next night. I think it's slowed down just a little bit that front, but that's the good thing about our phones now. We get some really good forecasts, so you can kind of dictate wind direction is everything. The south end of the lake I think it's pushed up right now a little bit. That northwest wind has actually made the south end of the lake rise just a little bit, which is going to be good for fishing down there. South wind does just the opposite. And that wind, that part of the lake can drop really fast when you get that south wind, but I wouldn't look forward to that here the next several days. I think it's going to be pretty much the same. Northwest wind, northeast wind, cold, and how the fish. I think in my next segment, I'm going to give you my thoughts on how to catch cold front bass, but I really think this cold weather is going to be out of the way before the new tournament that's coming here the following week. I think their practice starts this Sunday. So now their practice is going to be a little bit different than what they're going to see during the event. It's going to warm up a little bit. So I think that's a good thing. We want them to catch fish here. We want them to come down, showcase Lake Okeechobee. I don't want them fishing during a cold front. I want them fishing here when the fish are biting, because I want the world to see exactly what we have here in their backyard. There's nothing better. Lake Okeechobee is, man, it's clean. It's fishing really good right now. Fish are kind of scattered. That's one thing. Fish are scattered because there's so much submerged grass. You got so much shrimp grass, spiny noad. You got a lot of eel grass growing a lot of places. So a lot of good stuff happening on the BigO right now. But Anyway, I'm gonna end with that right now. You know, a lot of people are looking for a place to retire. I get phone calls all the time of people want my suggestions on where they should stay, and it's all about knowing. You know, if you're gonna move to Florida, you got to know what you want, and you got to know what your wife wants. That's a big deal too. So as to where you decide to settle down. But I got a real good friend that's a real estate agent here in the Clewiston area. If you got any questions about buying a home here in our area, just let me know, and I'll get you in contact with a guy you can trust. So anyway, a lot of good stuff. A lot of houses for sale down here right now. And let me tell you, a lot of folks are wanting to move out of those northern areas down here. And I'm telling you, there's nothing better than living here when you can go out in your backyard, cut you a couple of fresh peppers and pull you a fresh tomato off the vine, and go in, cook you a big bacon, egg, and cheese. Man, I'm getting hungry. I'm getting ready to go do that right now. But before I do that, I got to thank Okeechobee County for making it possible for giving you these tips. Visit OkeechobeeCounty.com. You can go there and get everything. Lakeshore Marine, got a problem with your boat, call them. Power pole, can't fish without power poles down here. Clewiston Golf Course, bring your clubs. They're setting records for the numbers of tee times, and the reason, their course is in tremendous shape. Best greens I've seen here ever. Joanne Jordan, State Farm Insurance, I got everything insured with her. If you got a problem with or got a question about insurance, go by and sit down with her. She'll go over everything you got. Take her your stuff. She'll go over everything you have and tell you what, maybe you've got something you don't need. Maybe you need something you don't have. She'll help you out. Bait station in North Fort Myers. K&M Drugs. Gonna go get my flu shot today. I put this off long enough. Pogie's Family Restaurant, they open early for our anglers. Getting ready to go angle. And RV1 Mobile Repair. Got a problem with your RV? Whether you're at home or in a campsite, dial this number, RV1 Fix My RV, and they'll come out and hopefully take care of your problem. But until next time, guys, hey, I'm getting ready to go have me a bacon, egg, and cheese sandwich with a fresh tomato right out of my garden.